What is your advice for people who's trying to lose weight?
Okay, I think the biggest thing is that they go for speed first,
Okay.
Okay.
and I tell them, you know what, don't worry about speed. You could always work on speed, and some guys, they are naturally speedy, but don't work on your speed. You got to get the endurance first, because when you go for speed and you don't get it right away, you did get discouraged and you fall off. I seen guys come in, they try to run full speed and they run like not even a mile, they gas out and they're done. They're done for like they running, then they go back and they say, I hate running. Yeah, you know what, it's too hard, I give up. You run really slow.
Okay.
So to lose weight, sorry to call you free.
No, you're
so
good.
to lose weight, focus on endurance first.
Yep. Focus on endurance first. Just run. Don't time yourself. Just get out there, put on a pair of running shoes, just go out there and run. Run. You don't have to run fast. Just run. In fact, I suggest you run slow, even slower than you think you could run. Because if you try to run, our mentality is that we got to get out there and run fast, because that's just how our mind works. But when you do that, you fall back and discourage. What you want to do is, at least when you run, be able to talk,
Okay.
like be able to talk to, like we're talking right now. If you're not, we're running way too fast.
Wow.
If you're dying, So that's what I would tell people, because I've seen guys that first start and the next day they would go and put weights on themselves already and run. I'm like, bro, you're just gonna get injured like that, And a lot of people do end up getting injured and then discouraged, and then during that injury they would just use that as oh, I can't run, I have bad knees, when it's not even that. It's just that they push themselves too hard. Their mind is thinking already what they could accomplish without slowing it down. So, you know what? I'll tell you guys this. Every marathon that I go in, one of the biggest things when I first start is I would always have to tell myself, slow down, slow down, slow down. Every marathon, beginning, not to. Because I will tell you, I don't care how hard you train, how the guy that we go and line up on a marathon, I could tell which one's gonna falter, because the guy that's super pumped, he's like super hyped, like I'm gonna go, yeah, I'm ready. That dude's gonna be, because during the first mile he's gonna use all his energy and he's gonna have an energy dump. All the training that you had is gonna be all gone. Your energy dump, boom, and then you're done. The first mile. That guy, he'd be on the sideline huffing and puffing. So when you first start running, it's better just to start slow, even in a marathon. Even if you've been training, you've been running a marathon a long time, you got to start slow, especially if you've been training a long time. You should know, start slowly. I would always have to calm myself down, because I'm the type of person, and when I get to a marathon, I would get too hyped up,
Oh, okay.
So I would always have to calm myself down and say, you know what? Breathe, take it slow, one moment at a time. People would be surprised at that. They would say, wouldn't you want to be hype yourself up more? And I'm like, no, that's the worst you can do when it comes to running. Maybe in other sports, but not running. Running, you want to like back off and let the run come to you. Start out slowly. And so I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they first start running, is to go hard too fast and they get discouraged. So my advice for anybody that wants to start running or get back in shape, as far as running anyways, and significant miles, is to run slow. Enjoy the run. Make it fun. Run at your pace. Run really slow. Don't go so hard. And then eventually you'll build that up. And then eventually you can start throwing in the speed sessions, hills, stairs, or you could start doing what do they call it, where you run sprints. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can start adding those and building up your speed, because speed is easy to build. I mean, it's not easy to build, but you could build it later. Where in the endurance, it's the one that you really have to invest the time in. And so I would always encourage people to endurance first. Every day, consistency. I don't know, show up. I think that for me, getting up every day and just, no matter what it is, if it's raining, if people are partying, people are doing things, you got to keep doing it every day, no matter what. It doesn't matter what you other people are doing. You just got to keep doing that. For me, when I was still partying, drinking, I knew I had to get up every day, because that was the plan that I had for me. I don't care if I stayed up all night and drank, I still had to come. Okay, I'll tell you guys this one time, Gushali Shanam, first time I ever I don't know if I should say this, but first time I smoked
Hot?
no. Worse than that, bro.
Crack?
No,
Meth?
meth.
Meth. Yeah.
Bro, I smoked and then you know how when you smoke meth,
Man, you did everything,
no,
man.
you hold yeah, I did. You hold liquor, huh?
Yeah.
I finished, me and my buddy, it was just two of us. We finished a whole 24 case of Bud Light, bro.
Holy shit.
because
Just-
because when you're under that, you don't
Oh.
your buzz is gone. You don't feel the alcohol.
Oh.
It's just like water. It's like me drinking water right now.
Take jog, get
Yeah, bro. I drank like it was nothing.
Yep.
And then
Did it kick in later?
yeah, because when the condom were like
You were
because your body's still going through the same thing. You just don't feel
Wow.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, bro,
Hey.
yeah. So like, even though I did all that the night before, the next day, my buddy, he's like, man, we live in Lake Elmo. I still parked my car. I was like, a zombie. I still went around the block and ran 3 miles, bro. And you know what? That 3 miles, I feel like Superman
Oh.
because of the
Right,
yeah.
right. Because of the drug.
the-
Yeah.
And you feel like you're invincible, you're
Yeah,
unstoppable.
bro.
Yo.
I
Yeah.
feel like normal, you know. When she breathe, you know. And so, my point is that even though all that, I still did it. I mean, it's not an excuse to smoke and go run. That's not that's not the point. The point is that you know what, like through all those, you still got to do it. And I think for me, that's why I became such an slave to my addiction, because I had that kind of personality. And when you have that personality, and you find something that's not gonna help you in any way, then you take that too far. Versus if you take it and do something positive, inspiring, you could go further. And so I was always like that. And so when I did that, that made me realize that, you know what, I could die. I could die because of my addiction.
Yeah.
This could be my life if I go too deep. I'm not like one of those guys where we just go hang out, kick it with my buddies, and call it a night.
Right,
go
right.
to bed. I knew that, you know what, this could take my life out, and I did. It almost did, because I've been in crashes before, head-on collision, where I ended up at the hospital. I got up at the hospital with heart monitors on me, and then I took it off. I was like, what is this going on? Because you blacked out.
Yeah.
And then this one time I was at what's the hospital in St. Paul? It used to be Ramsey Hospital.
St. Johnson?
No, the big one right when you go downtown.
Regional?
Regents, yeah.
Regions?
Yeah, back in it used to be Ramsey. But I got up, right, and then I took all that stuff away. The nurse like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm leaving. I gotta go. The nurse like, no, you can't. Your alcohol blood level is still too high. I checked. There was a paper that I grabbed. I looked, and it was a police report. It says Mr. Lee's been on head-on collision.
Holy
Yeah, bro. And I was like, wow, I could have died. You know,
Did anybody else get hurt, or just nobody got hurt?
bro. If somebody got hurt, I think I would have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here.
You would have been in prison
I
right
would have
now,
been
man.
instead of Stillwater County Jail. I would have been in Stillwater Prison,
Holy
bro.
shit.
Yeah.
So I was that close. So even then, I knew, like, I didn't realize it then, but there was a purpose. God was saving me, you know? God was, I had this purpose. So now, thinking back on it, I realized, wow, you know what? This thing that I'm going to do, I really have to do it. I can't take it lightly, because I almost, like, my life, I'm supposed to be dead right now. I was in a head-on collision. I could have been either dead or in prison. And so that's how far extreme I took it, to where even my family, they didn't want to associate with me anymore because of the danger that I was causing. But during my addiction, I thought they were the bad people, I said, no, you guys don't care about me, But that was like me having so much pride. God hasn't worked in my life yet, and I thought that they were the ones that was having the issue, but it was me. And so now I realized that, and I realized, wow, you know what? God saved me because he knew that I'm this type of person and I have to I think that's part of me trying to fulfill this, is because I know that there's a purpose in not just in my life, but I think that each of us, I think Shua, like you and Chad, you guys have your own purpose. And I think that you guys got to define that purpose, that what God's created you to do. Sure, maybe you're here to do this, inspire people, bring people on, like me, like Mitch, to bring other to on till we could, maybe that's your whole thing, And so we all play a purpose. And so I'm just doing my little itty part of my purpose. But you know what? Now that I realize it, I'm not gonna take that lightly. I'm gonna try to fulfill that purpose. And so through all that addiction, people ask me if I would change anything. Before this, I said yeah, because I lost so many relationships, I lost so many jobs. I would say yeah, maybe I could have changed. But now looking back on it, bro, I wouldn't change it, because now I get to do something that's pushing the kingdom and helping others. And I wouldn't be able to come here and talk to you guys if I didn't go through all those things. If I didn't hit bottom like I did, I would just be living like a life that I thought that would be fulfilling, marry, maybe just like thinking about myself, like, as long as I get my money, I get a job and living that life. But now I have a different perspective. I think about what we can do as people to help each other, and influence each other. And I think that you are doing a great job. You guys are doing a great job at that, because if you guys didn't come on, bring people on. So I think that we all have this to play. Either we could push it back or we could push it forward. And I think that if you realize your purpose, ôi tôi nên tung khe có chỉ sáu tôi nên câu chờ có chỉ sáu tôi nên on drugs có chỉ sáu tôi nên là nhỏ có sáu tôi nên có bố để có purpose, có sáu tôi nên show every day bỏ nên suffer ba lần for instance, like when we went to visit your homeless or I'll tell you guys a real quick story. Itu a young Hmong guy.
Okay.
We were grilling, right, and he came up. I think I'm not sure if his name, but I think his name is or something.
Okay.
And then he came up and he was like, brother, I would have brought some beer. And so I told him, I'm like, brother, we're at rehab right now, and we're here just to give you guys just to help out and stuff like that, and hang out with you guys and talk. And so he asked me, he was like, got you hold on, because God called me into this and I found my purpose, and then my cravings were gone. And then I saw that spark in his eye, because he said, what, your craving like is gone? I was like, yeah, completely. And my craving used to be really bad. I would always have to have a beer or liquor with me every day, or when you go to the restaurant, I would always go to the bar. And so it was really strong. So for him to see that, wow, you know what, I saw that spark in his eye, and he wanted to know more. And so I told him more. I was like, brother, there's a place you could come to. You could come to Teen Challenge Minneapolis right now. I could get you in there, and you could start your way back into having a better life for yourself. And you know what? I ended up giving him a contact card. And so what I learned from that is that, you know what? Some of these guys, although they're going through the same issue I went through, maybe they have cravings they can't control. They need help. They need some sort of so that kind of like sparked in me that, you know what, so he's looking for answers, he's intrigued by it. Maybe he wants help, and so just a little, I'm not saying that he's gonna come with me right now. No, just that glimmer of light, hope, all that's good enough, Yeah. And so I think that that's what it's all about, just that little glimpse of life, that seed that's planted in that person. And eventually, as their life goes on, they'll remember that. And one day they're going to be like, you know what? I remember when I saw Shore, or I saw one of these guys, and they influenced me in this way. Maybe I got to go back and, revisit that, and that'll change their life, And so it's just small little things like that that are so influential in our lives that we don't realize. And so I learned so much from just talking to these guys and hanging out with them. And some of them, people say that some of them, they don't want to change their life, but some of them, they really do want to change their life. But the thing is that they haven't found the right person to get them to change. And what I mean by that is that's why it doesn't matter where you are from. you have a chance to do that, because maybe there's a person that I could influence, but I can't. But there's one that you could, but I can't, you know? Like one that maybe likes MMA, and he's like, okay, I got to go talk to Shaw. I'm not going to talk to Free. Free's just like, he just runs all the time. I'm interested in fighting. So maybe your purpose is to, you can influence that person. Or maybe Chad. Chad could just influence that person in some other way. So I think that for us, we all have to come together, because we never know who we're going to, what the need is for that people. So it's all about us just coming together in those really small fragments to influence other people. Because if I didn't say that about my life, he would have never said anything, you know? And so number one is for us to get out there. Number two is we need a lot of different people out there, because there's different people that are out there suffering. And so I'm just doing like maybe one part of it, but I think that the more people we get, the better. Because for me, I never thought about doing a podcast. I was going to run. But when I saw Mitch, he intrigued me. So it kind of started a chain reaction, you know? Yeah. And so I think that that's so influential. That's why when I think about it, I'm like, man, maybe I don't want to do it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I got to do it. Because you just don't know who's out there that's waiting for that spark. And I think that instead of going after each other, wasting our energy, I think we got to use it for this now. You know, especially for me, because I've been down that road. You know, I've been depressed. I've been living on my own. I've been to the dark. I've been where there's in county jail and sitting there and nothing going on and having hopeless. I will be honest with you guys. I think if it wasn't for Teen Challenge and going up to Duluth, I don't think I'd be sitting here with you guys. I think my life would have been the end. So I think that made such an impact on my life. And now, you know what? It's going to be tough, but I really want to do it. And I want to give the hope, you know, because there's a lot of people that even if you're doing something and they don't know about it, I want to reach those people that are like sitting out on the streets, you know, sitting out on the streets and late at night and there's nobody there because homeless, because I've been down that road before. I slept outside by myself in Minneapolis, homeless. And so I know how that is like in the middle of winter. And in fact, I've actually lived in a tent city. And so I know how that is. I know that the rules of the tent city. I've been there, and it's something that you lose so much hope for. Once you go to that, you don't think much of yourself. You're like, how am I ever going to get out of this? But I think the only thing keeping me alive was just God. I will tell you this, Shaw and Chad. A man, when you take away a man's purpose and his hope, that's the biggest thing. You might as well just kill that man by then, because if you don't have that hope for a better future or for tomorrow and living in depression all the time, that's something that is suffering. That's, in my book, that's suffering. Get up every day, you just don't want to do anything. And what we don't understand is that a lot of these people, these guys and ladies, they're going through this day in and day out. They're just getting up with no hope, nothing. And I think that they can get out of it. They really can. I think that they just gotta see what Jesus is and what he can do for them. And I truly believe that that's the key, because I didn't think anything was gonna happen in my life, but slowly and surely all the little miracles started happening in my life, little small ones. For instance, like I would tell you, up in Duluth, I didn't want to take a vacation, come back down to the cities, because I was scared that I might drink again. I was scared of that, because if I did all that, all my belief in God, Jesus, up to that point, it would just be for nothing, you know? I didn't want to come out to the real world. I didn't want to test myself, because what if I fail? What if I come down here, I see my friends, go to the bar, and I get the cravings again, and I can't stop it, and I just keep drinking again? It would be nothing.
It's only one drink away, right?
Yeah.
One drop.
And so
One drop.
I didn't want to come. And I talked to my chaplain up there about it. He said, Free, you know what? You should pray about it and just go. So I did. I came down here. In fact, we went to a sushi place, and there was a bar at MOA. And you know what? The first thing I did was I walked in there, and I used to, before that, I would always just go to the bar. And just go order a drink before anything. But this time I went. You know what, guys? I will tell you guys this. For the first time in my life, I feel normal. I didn't have that urge to go get a drink, the excitement, and I felt normal. I didn't get that high no more, you know. And to me, that blew me away. That was like, wow. I've never felt this way. My first instinct is just to like craving, but that never happened. And so I was able to enjoy my meal. And for the first time, I remember thinking to myself, clear as day today, say, wow, this is how it feels to be normal. Because I didn't want a drink in my hand. I was able to enjoy my meal. So after that, I went back up to Duluth and I told my chaplain about it. I'm like, wow, this is the craziest thing. Because usually I would go and have cravings, but for some reason I didn't. And so that was made me want to pursue my faith even more. And from then on, I didn't look back. I was like, whatever this is I have to do, I got to keep going because I've never felt this way in my life. I've always wanted a drink. And then I study, I did all the necessary things. I learned about the Bible. And I really felt I had the running already, right? It was there. But then I had to build this side up in order to accomplish my goals that I'm going to do now. My spiritual side needed to be built up.
Yeah.
Because my running, God's already been building this all my life. God was just like, man, this guy, I just hope he doesn't fall off until I bring him over here to the spiritual side. And now I could use him to help others. And so the whole time I was there, TC, I was learning. I didn't know at the time, but I was learning about my spiritual side, how to help people, how to be compassionate, how to live the life that the Bible teaches, how to give back. For me, I don't really particularly care about anything else, like the end times, all that stuff. I care about helping people, the way Jesus lived, being compassionate, because I was never that person. And so I cared about that. So that's what it taught me. And I started building that. I started building compassion for people, wanting to help people, loving people, not just your family, but the guy down the street. And so my whole time there, I developed that. When my physicality, running, God's always put that in my life. I thought I just liked it, but no, he already put the big picture. He already painted the big picture already. And so he put that in my life already. And so when I got to TC, I was just building the other side. So now I could be valuable and of service to him, to God. So now I could go run across the country and tell people, not just run, and they're going to ask, why are you running? I mean, I just tell them I like running. No, you're running because there's a bigger purpose. This is what running did for me. This is what running could do for you, and that's the purpose. I'm not just running because I feel like it. I'm not just running because I love running. There's no point in that. I could just run here. I could just run marathons. There's no point in that. The point is that God has made me this person because he's adding more character to me to be this person that could give back. That's why when I think about it, Short and chat about running marathons, I could just go do that and be happy, go get a job and run marathons and be happy. But I think I will be fulfilling myself and just go do my plans like I had before, just go run marathons and do stuff like that. But now the purpose is bigger. Yeah. The purpose is not just marathons anymore. The purpose is getting out there and helping people. I'm able to share this love that I have, that God has given me, to serve that purpose, because ultimately it is part of the purpose. It is part of the tool that he has given me. So now he has built up this whole side, and now I don't want to do the other stuff. I don't want to just go back and be a recovery coach. I could go do that later, but now I got to do this calling first. And that's why I am so passionate about it, not because it's just one-sided, but it's a three-dimensional for me. Not just one side. It's not just, I like running. I want to run across country. It inspires people, inspires. No, I want to do it because, number one, I want the compassion that God has given me. Number two, it's my calling. It's my calling, and now I was built up to have the purpose and to have this knowledge now to share what happened in my life. And so I really feel like even if I didn't want to, this is something that I have. It's not something that I just go do anymore. It's something that's bigger than that. And so that's why I am so passionate. That's why I wanted to get on your podcast and talk about it, because if it was something like minute, I would be able to hold it in myself and say, I don't need to go on their podcast. I don't need to do all this stuff. I just run when I feel like. But it's bigger than that. And I think that when you connect, when you go talk to people who are on that same wavelength, like for instance, when I talk to Mitch or when I talk to you guys that understands that, you get inspired by those people because they understand what you're saying. So when I talk to you guys or I come on this podcast like right now, I get inspired. When I talk to Mitch, I get inspired. When I see Schofield, I get inspired. When I see a Suni Lee, I get inspired because those people, they're moving on a different wavelength. And so you inspire each other. And in the Bible, it says, iron sharpens iron. And I think that the thing is that when you find an iron that could sharpen you and you could help sharpen, that's when we go further. And I think that that's what this is all about. For me, that is the ultimate purpose in life. And if I could contribute to a small part of that, then I'm doing my part. And you know what, guys, I will tell you guys this. There's nothing more fulfilling in life. I did all these wild, crazy stuff. And yes, they were fun. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and say they weren't fun. They were fun, but they're only fun for that minute. They're only fun for that night. They weren't sustainable fun. Yeah. They were fun that night. They were fun for like the next 2 days. Every week we have to keep doing it. It'd be fun, and but at some point it became like, what are we doing?
Don't let the devil win, man.
Yeah, and so all those things I've done. They were not. They were fun, but they weren't fulfilling. They weren't sustaining like this. I've never done anything in my life that would make me look at a bottle and say, I don't need that because I got something better.
There's got to be something else to do besides drinking
man,
every
you know
week.
what? Okay,
right?
so I'm. You know what, Chad and Shua, I am so glad to just be here, and I think that just chill with you guys and talk about this, and that's really what I wanted to get off my chest and talk about the purpose that I'm here for. Okay,
all right, but thank you. I love that.
Yeah. So yeah.